Marriage is often described as the most beautiful companionship two people can share. After 70, the idea of remarrying may seem like a way to cure loneliness, find support, or enjoy companionship in later years. At first glance, it may appear to be a second chance at love and happiness. However, life after 70 is very different from life at 30 or 40. The realities of health, finances, family, and legal matters cannot be ignored. What looks like a new beginning can quickly turn into challenges that most people are unprepared for. Doctors, elder care specialists, and financial advisors consistently remind seniors to think carefully before deciding to remarry. At this stage of life, even small complications can turn into major problems. The desire for love is natural, but rushing into remarriage often brings nightmares instead of peace. Here are 5 of the most common and serious challenges seniors face when they remarry at 70. 1. Financial conflicts and loss of security. Money is one of the greatest challenges in late-life remarriages. By the age of 70, most people have already spent a lifetime building savings, managing pensions, or owning property. When two seniors remarry, all these financial resources suddenly become linked. What might seem like a union of hearts often turns into a union of financial headaches. The first problem is inheritance confusion. Children from previous marriages often expect to inherit their parents' property or savings. When a parent remarries, those expectations may suddenly change. The new spouse may be entitled to part of the estate, which can create deep resentment among children and grandchildren. This often leads to conflict, broken trust, and even legal battles after death. The second problem is pension and social security loss. In some countries, widows or widowers receive a pension from their late spouse, but if they remarry, they may lose that financial benefit permanently. What looks like a small decision for love may result in the loss of thousands in monthly income, creating financial strain in the long run. There is also the issue of daily expenses. Seniors often live on fixed incomes. If one partner has more wealth than the other, there can be tension over spending habits. One may wish to save strictly, while the other may want to spend on travel or hobbies. Disagreements about money are stressful at any age, but after 70, they can feel unbearable. Finally, financial conflicts also arise with medical costs. At this stage of life, healthcare expenses increase dramatically. Seniors who remarry may end up spending their own savings on their spouse's medical bills, leaving little for themselves or their children. In short, financial matters are not just small obstacles, they are life-altering challenges. What begins as love can quickly turn into disputes over pensions, property, and inheritance. Seniors who remarry at 70 must plan extremely carefully, or risk facing the nightmare of financial insecurity. 2. Family resistance and broken relationships. The second nightmare many seniors face is resistance from family. Children, grandchildren, and even siblings often react strongly when a senior chooses to remarry. What might feel like a personal choice to the elder may feel like betrayal or rejection to family members. Children may feel as if the memory of their late parent is being dishonored. Some worry that the new spouse will replace their parent, even if that is not the case. Others may fear that the new partner will take away inheritance, property, or even their role in decision-making. These emotions can create lasting resentment and distance. Grandchildren may also struggle to accept the situation. For them, family traditions and holidays may feel disrupted. What was once a familiar, safe environment now feels complicated. They may avoid visiting or create emotional distance, leaving seniors feeling isolated. Sometimes, siblings and extended relatives also object. They may see the remarriage as unnecessary, risky, or even shameful. In many cultures, the idea of marrying again after 70 is still stigmatized, and this can create gossip or judgment within the community. The result is often broken family ties. Many seniors who remarry find themselves distanced from children or excluded from family gatherings. What began as an attempt to fight loneliness may ironically lead to even greater loneliness. The support system they once relied on begins to weaken. This is one of the saddest realities of remarriage at 70. While love is precious, The price of family distance can be devastating. Seniors must ask themselves whether companionship with a new partner is worth risking the trust and closeness of lifelong family bonds. 3. Health responsibilities becoming overwhelming. At the age of 70 and beyond, health becomes one of the central concerns of daily life. Chronic conditions such as diabetes, heart disease, arthritis, or memory decline are common. While marriage often means in sickness and in health, remarriage at this stage can quickly become overwhelming because one or both partners may already be struggling with significant medical needs. In many cases, one spouse may become the primary caregiver for the other. At first, this may seem manageable, but caregiving is a heavy responsibility. It includes helping with mobility, managing medications, attending hospital visits, and even providing personal care. For a senior in their 70s, these responsibilities can cause physical exhaustion, emotional burnout, and financial stress. Another reality is the rapid decline of health. At this stage of life, one partner's health may deteriorate suddenly, leaving the other with little time to prepare. What was meant to be a partnership of shared joy may turn into a burden of constant caregiving. Instead of companionship, the relationship becomes centered around illness and dependency. There is also the issue of medical decision-making. Remarriage may legally transfer health decisions to the new spouse. In emergencies, children may have no say in medical care, which often leads to arguments and broken trust. This can create tension not only between families but also between the senior and their children. Lastly, caregiving responsibilities can limit personal freedom. Seniors who dreamed of traveling, socializing, or enjoying hobbies may find their lives restricted by their partner's health needs. This unexpected reality often leaves them feeling trapped rather than fulfilled. The truth is, at 70, health challenges are inevitable. Remarriage can magnify those challenges, turning love into a heavy responsibility that neither partner is fully prepared for. 4. Legal complications with assets and rights. Legal issues are another nightmare many seniors face after remarrying at 70. At this age, most people already have wills, property arrangements, or plans for inheritance. Remarriage can complicate all of this, often in ways that cause stress, disputes, and costly legal battles. One of the most common issues is inheritance rights. In many legal systems, a new spouse automatically gains rights to part of the estate. This can override previous wills, leaving children or grandchildren with far less than they expected. It often results in court disputes, family resentment, and broken relationships. Another complication is property ownership. If one partner owns a home, remarriage can create confusion over whether the house belongs to the children, the surviving spouse, or both. In some cases, the children may lose their claim entirely, or the spouse may be forced out of the home after death. Medical and legal decision-making is also affected. By law, a new spouse often becomes the primary decision-maker in emergencies. Children may find themselves powerless to act, even if they have been the caregiver for years. This can cause painful conflicts in critical moments. Divorce, though rarely considered at this age, is another risk. If the marriage fails, dividing assets becomes even more complicated, often leaving both partners financially vulnerable. Legal complications are rarely discussed before remarriage, but they are some of the most destructive consequences. Seniors who remarry without carefully updating their wills, trusts, and property documents often leave behind confusion and conflict rather than peace. 5. Loss of independence and freedom. The final nightmare is one that many seniors underestimate: the loss of independence and freedom. After a lifetime of responsibilities, many people look forward to retirement as a time to live life on their own terms. Yet remarriage at 70 can take away that independence in unexpected ways. Living with a new partner means adjusting daily habits, routines, and preferences. Even small things like what time to eat, what shows to watch, or how to spend weekends require compromise. For someone who has lived independently for years, this can feel suffocating. There is also the issue of emotional freedom. Seniors who were once free to spend time with friends, family, or hobbies may now find themselves tied to their partner's expectations. Social circles may change, hobbies may be sacrificed, and travel may be limited by the new spouse's preferences or health. Another hidden reality is the loss of personal space. After decades of shared or single living, many seniors become deeply attached to their personal environment. Moving in with a partner or merging households can feel like giving up a part of themselves. In some cases, remarriage can also lead to dependency in the opposite direction. One partner may rely heavily on the other for financial support, care, or companionship, leaving little room for independence. Instead of freedom, the marriage becomes another set of obligations. The dream of companionship often hides the reality of compromise. For many seniors, this loss of freedom becomes the biggest regret of late-life remarriage. Final thoughts. Remarrying at 70 may sound like a romantic new beginning, but the reality is often filled with challenges. Financial conflicts, family resistance, health responsibilities, legal complications, and loss of independence can turn what was meant to be companionship into a series of struggles. This does not mean seniors should never remarry. Love, at any age, is valuable and beautiful, but it does mean that elders must think carefully, plan thoroughly, and consider all consequences before taking this step. Companionship can be found in many ways through friendships, community, hobbies, and inner peace without the risks that remarriage brings. The best life advice is this: before saying yes to remarriage at 70, weigh not only the heart but also the realities of health, money, family, and freedom. True happiness in later life comes from peace of mind, not just partnership. Eth_y_micro_thy